My name is Misty Frederick, and I want to talk to you about food insecurity and mental health. Food insecurity has become an important issue for me. I have been a Meals on Wheels volunteer driver for 2 years, and what I have found that a majority of my clients are food insecure. They wait anxiously for me to deliver their food for the week, and some of them are waiting because I have their breakfast for the day. But food insecurity does not affect only older persons, it affects all ages. One of the most under-recognized social determinants of health is food insecurity. It is a public issue that contributes to the growing epidemic of obesity, heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and a host of other chronic conditions. In 2021, food insecurity increased for households with no children, especially women and older persons living alone. People who have food insecurity often eat very low nutrient foods due to the lack of nutritious food based on the lack of money, the lack of mobility or transportation, and the lack of access to nutritionally balanced meals. So what is food insecurity? It is defined as a limited or uncertain access to nutritionally adequate and safe foods, or the ability to acquire acceptable foods in socially acceptable ways due to the limited financial resources. Across the U.S., there are 13.5 million households that are food insecure. Of those 13.5 million households, 5.1 million had a very low food security to the point that their normal eating patterns were interrupted. Food insecurity can be exacerbated by food deserts. A food desert is a geographical place, urban or rural, lacking access to nutritional food within a reasonable distance from where the person lives. Here is a map of the food desert areas within the greater Seattle area. As you can see, although Seattle is a very large urban area, food deserts are very prevalent. Reader and colleagues found that food security status was significantly associated with gender, race, education level, marital status, smoking status, and BMI. But food deserts are not without food provisions. They just lack access to healthy, nutritious, and affordable foods. I decided to take a drive around a local food desert and see what I can find. And what I found was within a 15-mile stretch of road that I did not encounter a new-looking grocery store or shopping center along the drive. Food deserts can have restaurants, cultural markets, which can sometimes be the only food provider within a long stretch of road, and mini-marts. They may have summertime farmers markets, but here in the Pacific Northwest, they only happen June through October. Finding fresh vegetables for a reasonable cost is not readily found. In the food desert, you can find stores that are owned by families, such as butcher shops pictured here, or there may be cultural markets, but they may have produce that is specific to their culture. Living with food insecurity can result in poor outcomes among college students. The researchers found that food insecure students had lower GPAs and reported more anxiety and depression when compared to other food secure students. Food insecurity can also create a situation where an individual lacks the physical markers of undernutrition, yet still bears the mental and social costs of uncertainty about food supply. A person who is food insecure often receives lower intakes of iron, calcium, protein, and energy, as well as vitamins A, C, and magnesium. Food insecurity damages mental health, but not the way that I had assumed. Mental health is damaged through the direct stress pathways, such as frank stress of not knowing how one will feed one's children or themselves, but not through the social damage that might ensue from having to forego desired foods that one cannot afford. Food insecurity can create constant worry and uncertainty. It affects a person physiologically as well. Food insecure adults are more likely to experience chronic health conditions. Older adults are 262% times more likely to be depressed if they are food insecure. Fully food secure adults experience depression at a rate of 5.1%, but very low food security adults experience at 25.8%. That's a 5-fold increase in depression if you are food insecure. High risk for anxiety and stress can also create difficulty sleeping and a constant state of being on. Listed on this slide are some examples of ways that we can combat food insecurity. Thank you for listening. Please check out these websites if you'd like to find more about food deserts and food insecurity.